A tech company called Salesforce is the perfect example of just how tough it can be to close the remaining pay gap. Salesforce is huge, 30,000 employees, $10 billion in annual revenue, and it was just ranked by Fortune as the #1 best place to work among big companies. That helps explain why founder and CEO Mark Benioff was so cocky when the woman who runs his human resources department came to talk to him about equal pay back in 2015. So when Cindy Robbins came to you and said, you know, we may have a problem with unequal pay in the company, what was your reaction?
Well, I said, that's not possible here. You know, it's not possible.
Why was it impossible?
It's impossible because we have a great culture here. We're a best place to work. And we don't do that kind of thing. We don't play shenanigans, paying people unequally. It's unheard of. It's crazy.
Crazy because Benioff had already made promoting and retaining women a priority at Salesforce. But Personnel Chief Cindy Robbins says he never ordered an audit to make sure men and women were being paid equally.
And what I told Mark was, the one thing we can't do is do the assessment, look under the hood, see a big dollar sign, and shut the hood.
Please help us welcome to the stage our host, Cindy Robbins, President and Chief People Officer, Salesforce.
Good morning, everyone. Let's get some excitement going. And good afternoon or good evening. I want to welcome also our online viewers who are hopefully joining us from around the world. I want to first take some time to acknowledge a few people before we start this event, one of which is our fantastic partner. We couldn't have done this event without them, and that is Deloitte Digital. So thank you. I also want to, you're going to hear from some amazing people, including some of our own Salesforce women leaders, which are sitting here, some of which today, so welcome. And also some of our amazing board members, two of which Neely Cruz and Robin Washington, who'll be joining your co-host later today, Amy Weaver, who's our president and general counsel. So we have an exciting day planned for all of you. But I thought I would get started around a couple things, one of which is this is not actually our first Women's Summit. And this was really a long journey that started with one person, and her name is Molly Ford. Woo! She doesn't know I'm going to talk about her right now. She thought she had me scripted. She didn't. I don't like to be scripted. But actually, it was started in 2014, and Molly was in the communications organization at the time. We didn't have an Office of Equality at the time. We didn't have a Tony Profit at the time. But she was a manager, and she just had an idea. She had an idea of a women's summit that she wanted to kick off and get up off the ground at Dreamforce, which is our annual user conference. She wanted a day where women could gather, we could hear all these amazing voices, learn from one another, collaborate with one another, and she started to put together a plan. But she knew that ultimately the decision maker around what happened around a women's summit, a whole day dedicated to this issue, was the decision maker was Mark Benioff, our CEO. So she was like, how do I get to that decision maker? So she knew she needed an advocate and a champion in the company, and she turned to a good friend of mine and product executive, Layla Seika. So I'd like Layla to stand up. Please welcome Layla Seika.
Going, hi.
Because I don't think this is a story we've told very much, but it deserves to be told.
Told again. So Molly was my PR person. So at Salesforce, you have an awesome PR person that stands next to you and tells you what to say. I definitely need one of those if you know me at all. So Molly and I were in New York, and we were doing PR for Desk, which was our customer support application for the low end. And we got on a train from New York to Boston, and I said to her, Cindy and I are cooking something up. Like, we're done. We're going to go to Mark and talk about equal pay. And she said, ooh, I got something for that. I want to add something to that. And she brought out a deck on the train and walked me through a PowerPoint presentation about a women's summit at Dreamforce. And so when I went on Cindy's one-on-one with Mark, and we went and talked about equal pay, which Cindy will tell you about, right thereafter I said, and we want to do a Women's Summit, and we want to do a mentoring program, which Andrea Lezak helped us do. And then he said, yeah, that sounds great. And I said, okay, so Women's Summit, you're going to give me some budget. And he was like, yeah, you figure that out, but go make it happen, absolutely. And it was all Molly, man. And we rode her like crazy that year. We were like, go, Molly, go. And Molly was crazy. She put the whole thing together, and it was a wild day. So Molly deserves so much credit and mountains.
So she has not just been Molly has not just been a champion around this Women's Summit, but she helped influence Layla and I through the whole equal pay journey, going to Mark. And we went to Mark with equal pay. We went to him with the Women's Summit. We went to him with increasing maternity leave. We went to him with trying to develop a program to really identify and elevate more women into leadership roles here at Salesforce. So we used our voices, which is something I am trying to do every single day. My inner voice, not just as a chief people officer here at Salesforce, but not just as a Salesforce executive, but just as Cindy Robbins. And I think, what I'd like to leave you with is using your voice can be uncomfortable. I had a mentor, still have a mentor, same mentor, who gave me some very important advice years ago, said that you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Otherwise, you'll never grow. You'll never grow as an individual. You'll never grow in your career. You'll never grow as a leader. And so his inner voice is in my head every single day, and I'm trying to learn what that voice is and try to speak up on the right things. But every woman should feel safe to speak up, whether it's about equal advancement, equal opportunity, or equal pay. And if you are in a position of power, doesn't matter your gender, you have an inherent responsibility to pave the way for those that don't have that power yet. So you are in for an amazing day. I also want to take some time to thank Tony Profit and the Office of Equality for everything that they have done to put on this day. So with that, let's get this going. All right, thanks everyone.